What we are going to talk about is the word thought. THOUGHT. The importance of this word. I think there's nothing else more powerful than thought, I think. First, because we are product of a thought. A thought arose in consciousness to see itself in multitude. And so it fragmented. Why did it want to see itself in multitude? Because as a whole, it knows nothing about itself, though it is all potential is bursting to actualize itself, consciousness. With the result that there was so much it could not hold itself further and it fragmented. So now those fragment pieces were part of the one whole consciousness. So each piece is reflecting itself. So we are product of the thought, and we are creator of our world. Our world. So what is it? It's an illusion, because we are going to whatever the creator is, I am. I'm made of the same stuff. So I start procreating, following the principles of the cosmos. And as consciousness developed, and it became self-conscious, it started to identify itself as I, me. So it separated itself from that. I am the creator of my destiny. I am the master of myself. So it starts creating its own world. Now, as we go building our lives, each individual, basically it starts with a thought. Depending how powerful that thought is, it will actualize itself. And thought is something which travels faster than, I think, lightning even. As soon as a thought arises, it goes into the collective consciousness. So a thought, because my perception was visualizing, I could see that each thought has a form. And it doesn't take, thought and form is simultaneously. If you tell me that you saw a donkey on the way, immediately see a donkey, the word is unimportant. So we go on building these forms in our mind. And invariably a thought comes from out and we receive it. So that's why they say that thoughts come and let them go. Don't let them become hosts. So that awareness has to be there. Which thoughts are coming, which you hold on to, one shouldn't hold on to any thought, actually, I feel. Because whatever we are collecting from the unconscious, from the collective mind, might not be relevant to us, but looks like familiar. And we hold on to it and try to think about it, ponder about it because it seems interesting and we start creating the subconscious mind. All this is dropping into the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is the creator and holder of all our thoughts and emotions and problems. And its job is to give results. Immaterial, whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't realize. If an order has come from the conscious mind, it starts working on it. And all our lives' data, it's stored in the subconscious. So when we say, be a witness to your thoughts, don't allow to settle. Come, look at it. If it is important, keep it. Otherwise, let it go. So these thoughts, if too many thoughts, we are into the habit of thinking over the same thought again and again. And if it is not a positive thought, we are creating a problem for ourselves. Because that thought starts putrefying. And depending which chakra it belongs to, whether it is a heart chakra, whether it is Vishuddhi, whether it is Manipur, the organ around that will start getting affected. It is that it takes 6 months for a thought to penetrate the subtle body and go into the physical body. So in this period of looking at the thought, 6 months, you can heal yourself by getting over that thought. Otherwise, once it starts affecting the energy will start clogging in that subtle channel. So when that starts getting settled in a certain nadi, which is reaching a certain chakra, which is belongs to some organ, then slowly there will be lesser flow of energy till this calculated energy blocks that flow of energy. And that organ then is not getting fresh blood. So it starts putrefying. So it's very important to be very clear in your mind and stop dwelling on all negative thoughts of people. Once you realize that you're getting a headache or you're getting a migraine or you're getting it means you have been going over and over again to certain thoughts, and those forms are clogging the brain grooves. Energy is not flowing properly and cause ourselves great harm. So each thought, if over lifetimes, some trauma or ill will, resentments, hate, all these jealousies, these, if one keeps dwelling on it, not voicing it, not resolving it, so they settle down in the Muladhara chakra. The Muladhara is what? Earth. If they are not addressed, if they are not worked over, thought over, understood, resolved, then they start catching roots. So all this came to my understanding while I was doing the breaths about each chakra, why it gets clogged, why this. Then we come to what I term as entities. These forms, these relationships which have not been resolved, issues, traumas which have not been got over, sorrow which is not got over, all these issues, we constantly keep talking about them, and the words that we use keep changing every time we repeat a same emotion or feeling. Some of the words change and more keeps getting involved. The thought loses its form. So these forms are lying dormant because maybe once one has forgotten about them without resolving them. They are lying in a deformed form. So, which I'm talking about if I'm doing a technique, practicing one sadhana. The time comes as one's frequency changes. One becomes subtle and subtle. Your thoughts become more clearer. Your chakras start working properly. By the time you reach Muladhara chakra, after years of practice or whatever, it starts moving the earth element. With that moving, these thought forms are going to be let loose, which some are your own thought forms, some you have collected from the collective consciousness because they suiting you at that time and enhancing your hatred or resentment or ill will, spite, hatred. So they start surfacing and you see them as monsters, something appearing from nowhere and getting fearful. So when, I don't know if I told you that one of my friends, who's a journalist, she came one day and she was telling me that she had gone for this interviewing someone on access bars. You heard of access bars? And there she went through a session even while she was interviewing. And at the end of it, she says, you know what the healer said? I said, what? She said, I have an entity in my stomach. I said, what entity can you have in your stomach? She says, my mother's entity is in my stomach. So she has a very sensitive digestive system. She's been suffering for so long. So I started laughing. I said, you're an intelligent woman, boy. How can your mother be an entity in your stomach? But I knew her background. She and her mother did not have good relationship. They only understood each other on her mother's deathbed. And she had to look after her mother. Everything got cleared. But that thought is got all shapeless and weird. It's affecting her, the justice system. So these thought forms, they don't have physical form. They are not tangible. This I understood while I was going through my process of Kundalini awakening, what you may call. When the consciousness is rising from the first level of gravitation, the Earth's first level, I feel, there are these entities. People get most fearful there because there are all these consciousness which is just coming from the animal kingdom to the human kingdom, I feel. And I identify them like these children who are sometimes sitting in the garbage bin and trying to scrounging around. Gives me that feeling. These children who are just coming and getting to grow in consciousness over so many lifetimes, they don't understand life. They're still coming with those instincts. As soon as they die, they take birth. So they don't know what they are. They're mixing that life in the unconscious. And these things at that level, if one has been given the visual to see, I would call them gnomes. I didn't know these were entities. These were entities, thought forms of that consciousness which had just come into self-conscious state. And they would try to frighten you, pull your ears, because you're interfering with in their vibratory field. So this was, I think, a time when the person who was going through experience, particularly if one is following the ascending energy path, because you start from the Muladhara chakra. So these things will come up and somebody's pulling your ear, somebody's pulling your hair, they do weird things that you can lose your mind and give it up, which is very wrong. Because if you explain properly what it is, that is not tangible, it's just a thought, and it's got coagulated, and it's okay. So one will get over that vibratory level. So that's why it is said, if you are doing the ascending energy course, you have to be in the presence of a guru, not a large gathering. In a big ground or something. If a person is ready to activate when they say ki Kundalini awakening darshan or something like that, somebody gets active who's sensitive enough and goes through this phase, he has no way to reach the master. How would that? So I think all that is very dangerous. So one has to be careful to find out it's a descending energy or ascending energy. So that is what entities is, their forms which have no form. They are thought forms. immediately drop it. Even if you have to do an action, this does not belong to me, I drop it. Because if you start getting involved with it, because it suits you, it's addressing some part of yourself also, then it becomes a groove starts forming. You'll go again and again into that. Or when we see ourselves repeating a certain action somebody did or certain emotion, and then we keep repeating that to friends or to whenever we are sitting together and people are talking about certain things, you come up again with that thing. Each time it is getting distorted, distorted, distorted. You might be sharing it as a humor, but it's not. It's something which is got deep into you, which you identified with. You need to let go because it's just a thought. It doesn't have a body. Now, these at this vibratory level that were coming up and bothering me for so many days, I started thinking, what are they? They are pinching me, but I'm not. I don't feel the pinch in the body. They do various things, but my presence, awareness was there. Actually, I'm just witnessing them. What are they doing? Why are they doing? And once I figured out that they are attacking the psyche, not they, the kundalini. The energy is throwing up all the thoughts which they were going through when alive. They don't exist. They are not tangible. They can't feel my skin. So it's the mind. Once you understand that, then there's no fear anytime. You can go through full Kundalini experience and relax because you're doing it in awareness. So the masters or the books, scriptures, they don't address all this. They don't explain. It's okay, relax and let it pass. They are just saying this chakra for this chakra for this chakra for this. But why are they getting blocked? What is it? What happens? They are not going to sit and explain that the energy is flowing in the subtle body and this and this and this and this. This is the process. You have to. So when now meditation happens, I din it into the heads that when you get up and have the first thought, have a positive thought. To give an example, suppose a young couple and the, I won't say a boy, a man, he wants to get rid of, stop doing job and start his own business. So he plans, and is telling his wife one night, I've made up my mind, I'm going to do this. I have so much money of my own. I'll ask the bank for a loan, and I'll ask my friend. I'm sure he'll give me, and you can start whatever it is. Very positive in the night. In the morning, he got ready, everything tied, his diet, and the thought started happening. What if he says he doesn't have the funds now? What if he makes some excuse that it's all utilized? So that doubt already starts. By the time he reaches, he gets the response. At the moment, I don't have. So in various ways, you see, when you have thought of a friend, even, oh, I'll go and she'll say this or she'll say that. Or she has already received the thought. You are expecting this, unaware, but that conversation will flow in that way. So that's why I tell these students even, when you're sitting and thinking about something or someone, be positive, because if you're looking for a help or for advice, that you're going to get a positive response. And you will get. You can experiment with this. So I am the master of my life, and I will decide how I live it. But you will decide only if you make correct decision, not from that egoic self. So when in our course it is said that do not doubt, do not fear. When you enter this course, doubt and fear has to be dropped. Because what it states, it will give you to your full potential. So entities are different than spirits. Spirit, animals will have spirits. Human beings will have spirits. Even trees, consciousnesses, and non-animate and animate things both. Even in stone and mountain, there's consciousness. So once to this place called Hampi, we had gone there, and quite a bit is in ruins, but little pieces are lying there. So I picked up a piece of rock small, and we had spent the night at that place only in the hotel. So I held it in my hand and asked what was the first impression of this piece from wherever it has come. You won't believe, Rita, I saw a mountain, and at the base of the mountain, a small line I couldn't make out whether it is soldiers or whether some war scene or something is moving very close knit along the hill, trying to figure out, but I couldn't figure out what it was. So when we came back, I was telling my Guruji, this rock the memory, it was this belonging to this mountain. And so I said, I can't identify what is this some army going because of all that invasions and all that? Or what? They look like ants to me. So Guruji said, it is ants. It's if you see ants around a tree or a mountain, wherever they are all moving in a line. So even animate, inanimate, that we call, has a memory. Then in Mahabaleshwar, there's a Shiva temple outside, which is partly in ruins. So this is, we used to sit, a group of us, before I had joined Brahma Vidya. And there, one girl brought this big rock from the temple's ruins. So everyone was asking who will take this and see what memory this holds. So there was one lady, Parsi. She was a healer. So she said she'll take it. We used to meet once a week. And she came back. This is a temple in Nasik, outskirts of Nasik. She said when she sat with it, she saw which era, something like these people are going, they are holding those bow and arrows sort of a thing, and they're all marching as if they're going for a war. And she says, I think it is the Ramayana time, which made sense because I think they passed that way in their journey of exile. Ram, Lakshman, Sita, and all those Vanars. So it's fascinating. Your thought is the most. Everything depends on how you make your life. It depends on your thoughts. Because all thoughts, as I said, are coming from out. And you see that if sometimes one is feeling sad, or sometimes one is feeling happy, and one is feeling not that sad, but we are magnets. So all thoughts floating around which are feeling sad, they'll come to give you company. It gets multiplied. Same for depression. It's horrible, people who get into depression. Because part is up your own, but part is coming, you are inviting. So you have to keep in mind that your field is magnetic. You'll attract what you're wanting. And anything that comes into the conscious mind, actually the conscious mind stands guard that nothing negative goes into the subconscious. But because we live unconsciously, without thinking, whatever is coming, the flap keeps dropping and matter keeps going down the channel into the subconscious. We don't know how much we have stored over there and what is coming up to the surface. It's like I give an example, which is a whole ghada picture, they call it. And in that picture, that is the subconscious mind. So we are going on putting sometimes good thoughts, sometimes bad thoughts, sometimes horrible thoughts, sometimes happy thoughts. So what is going to, and that whole picture has got a hole at the bottom. What is going to filter through? Not that the happiness you are feeling just now, but life, some stupid thought. Trouble is coming, and you say, but I'm so happy by my, what is life? It is the meaning is that. Suddenly you feel something happy, some gold coming, oh, I have had a good day. So everything comes at the wrong time. So why we say something, some people are always suffering? Because you're not putting in much positive in that. So the main thing was entities. I don't know how entities came up. But entities are not to be worried. There should be no fear. But I feel even spirits or ghosts, there's nothing to fear. And they are going about their own business. You feel fear only if you see it. Otherwise, you don't. You sense a presence, even sometimes. One senses. But that time it is, you please, I don't need you here. Go your way, go in peace. You send them away nicely, not fear. There was a lovely affirmation. You are addressing all uninvited spirits in my aura. Please go to the place that is allotted for you. Do not fear, you will be welcome over there. So whatever you want, you send them. Don't get into fear mode. It's like when an animal is sitting, a dog is sitting, if you look at it and feel it might not attack, your very contraction will make the dog alert and ready to pounce. But if you just avoid it, and even if it is looking at you, just move on. It won't bother you. So it's the same with the. So entities are there, but it's our own creation. Like one, I think I must have told you this, one gentleman who has been doing the breaths for how long? Must be 10 years now. But after doing 5, 6 years of that, very good person, he's a good instructor even. He called me once, Guruji and strong man. I've not been able to sleep because every day, early in the morning at about 4 o'clock, he said he sees the most horrendous monsters you've not seen in any movies, and I get scared. It can be that scary. I didn't know this man could get scared of anything. I told him, I said, you've been doing the breath so long. We are so gross that it has taken that much of your breathing to make you sensitive. And your Muladhara chakra, the earth element, is now shifting. And all the traumas or whatever you have gone through in life, those are surfacing now. But he understood. And I said, you don't have to get scared, you have to let them out. So if one is going to let out so much of horror, somebody else can pick it up. No? It can't. I'm the releasing. But when we say outside, you saw this, something can attack you, but they can't. They can't hold you. So one don't fear anything. My Guruji asked me when I was started seeing these things, I asked him what it was, why it happens, how it happens. He says, don't have to know anything. It will unfold, it will unfold, it will unfold. That was the only help he would give. I'm very thankful because I had to figure out for myself why I don't feel the pains, why this. So that when one is telling another person, one feels, I'm saying it so authentically. Nothing, this student of mine, when they say this, I say just relax and release. Because energy, the life force that is moving within you, it is finding its own path. If you get fearful, it is it does not know what to write. It has to enhance every aspect of yours. Like singers, their kundalini sitting in their Vishuddhi chakra, or poets sitting in the heart chakra. So when it's moving properly, if you suddenly get fearful, it can get blocked in the wrong channel. So that basically happens in the ascending energy. Because your brain has not been worked on first. Your Vishuddhi, which speaks the truth. Your Agya, which advises correct. Or your heart, which feels. So when these 3-4 chakras are clean, then whatever arises, you look in more balance.